Hey you guys, it's Lindy. Welcome back to my channel. So I need your help with something. And yes, I really do need your help with something. So I'm hoping y'all there for me right now because do you guys know how hard it is to be a solo entrepreneur? I mean, if you're here, you probably do. So herein lies my problem. As a solo entrepreneur, I have nobody to push me or motivate me to do things that are beyond my daily routine, and I'm really feeling like I need a push to do a particular project, and so I have a feeling you guys can help me with that. I really need you guys to be my accountability buddies. So what do I mean? So as I've previously mentioned in numerous videos, I have taken a lot of my selling strictly over to Facebook from eBay. Now, that's not to say that I have completely dumped eBay and closed my eBay account. That is absolutely not true. I did cancel my eBay store subscription and I pulled over 1,000 items off of eBay to sell it elsewhere. But that doesn't mean that I'm just never, ever going to touch eBay again. I actually have an entirely new business model and perspective that I have kind of outlined, and I want to talk to you guys about that today, like what my new eBay goals are, what I'm expecting to do moving forward, the things I'm expecting out of eBay, so on and so forth. But the part that I need to be held accountable on, and what I need you guys to be my accountability buddy for, is that I'm really struggling with the push to actually get it started. So here's what I'm thinking. I would like to start posting a once a month video on my channel where you guys are holding me accountable. But I don't exactly know what all information should be included in this video. So as I'm talking, if things come to you, please go down and leave it in the comment section and let me know what you think. So if you're an OG of my channel, you'll know that I was doing monthly sold videos on eBay, but I don't want this to be the same thing. I want it to be an extension of that because it's kind of like growing an eBay store from scratch almost. So in this style video, I would go over the typical things like revenue, selling costs, profit. I would talk about specific items that sold and at what price points they sold at, anything I've learned about eBay over the last 30 days prior to doing the video. But I want to go a step above and include some other information because, again, like I said, I'm essentially growing a eBay store from scratch because when I was doing all of those sold videos before, I had thousands of items on eBay, I was making thousands of dollars, and now I'm not and not. So it's essentially starting eBay over, like not from zero, but pretty close to zero. So in doing that, I want to do more than just the typical sold information. I want to add in things like how many items I listed over the last 30 days. How much dollar value did I add to my account over that 30 days? Were there any items that I pulled off of eBay to either sell elsewhere or donate because I'm sick and tired of looking at it? And that's all I got. So if you could think of anything else that I should include in a video like this, please put it down in the comments. So essentially I'm thinking, revenue, profits, seller costs, things I've learned, maybe repeat customers, new items added, items removed, total value added to the eBay store, and that's all I got. So let me know if you have any other ideas of information that I can include in this once a month video. I personally feel like these monthly check-ins with you guys will kind of hold me accountable, and it will give me that push I need to actually do these things, because here's the thing. I've been showing videos where I am now sourcing inexpensive or free items for eBay, and I'm saying I'm going to list them, but I have to be honest, you guys, I am not. I'm not listing anything on eBay. I can't remember the last time I listed something on eBay. I think the last time I listed something on eBay was when the store was still open, when my store was still open, and I had the time to just sit and list items on eBay. I don't think that I have listed anything on eBay since I have closed up the store and started working outside my house again, which is going on 11 months now. So I have not listed anything new, and I have been sourcing stuff for eBay. I probably have, you know, $3,000 to $5,000 worth of value I can add to my eBay account. I just haven't done it yet. I've just found myself so enthralled with Facebook and getting back into YouTube and my nut roasting business. I find myself doing all of these other things. I just don't feel compelled to get back into eBay. And I know that as soon as I put it into a regular routine, it'll be a lot easier. And so I feel like I need an accountability buddy to give me that push. Can you give me that push to, you know, start listing on eBay again? Please, I need help. So officially, I cannot start this video series today because, again, I have not listed anything, but I feel like this would be a good opportunity to give you an idea of where I currently sit as kind of like a springboard into my future eBay goals. So I want to go over my current eBay numbers with you guys so we could see where I'm starting out on this little adventure together. And I'm hoping, I'm not just being selfish here, I am really hoping that me asking you guys to hold me accountable with my eBay account, I'm hoping that it can motivate you as well. You know, I'm hoping that in these sold videos that you guys will be able to give me your stats in the comments below. You know, let me know how much you grew your eBay store every single month, how many items you listed, how much value you added, what your revenue was. I'm hoping to make this once a month video series beneficial to everybody so we can all hold each other accountable and all get better and grow in this business together. But before I get into all of my current eBay numbers, before I start this little project of mine, I want to tell you guys what my goals are for eBay moving forward and how I plan to treat my eBay account from this day forward. So prior to now, eBay was my primary platform, right? I have hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel centered around sourcing for eBay, listing on eBay, taking photographs for eBay, shipping for eBay, just any topic related to eBay, you name it, I probably have a video about it on my channel. But I've, you know, had a little bit of an internal disagreement with eBay as of late, and it is no longer my primary platform. I instead sell primarily on Facebook and my own website, which is where my nut and candy business is. But I am not the kind of entrepreneur to have all of her eggs in one basket, so I definitely don't want to let eBay fall by the wayside. However, I do not intend to utilize eBay for the same things that I did previously. Here's my new plan. One of the things you probably heard me mention in recent history is I have just learned how much faster I can flip stuff on Facebook. Therefore, I hate seeing inventory just sitting on shelves, items that are on eBay just waiting around, waiting to sell. Because the longer an item sits on a shelf waiting to sell on eBay, that's capital that's tied up, that's profit I'm not making. And so I've become almost spoiled by how fast things flip on Facebook. So that tells me one thing about whatever I have listed on eBay. It tells me one thing about everything that's sitting on eBay shelves in my basement. It tells me that I want to have zero money tied up while I'm waiting for stuff to sell on eBay. That means that anything I list on eBay moving forward, I have to essentially consider free inventory, or I've paid less than $1 for it. So now when I say free inventory, does that mean I'm gonna go dumpster diving for my eBay stuff? No. I actually have an entire video that I did where I talked about how I get free inventory for eBay, and somebody put in the comment section of that video, it just absolutely tickled me. She said that was the kind of girl math that she liked. Because, and I wasn't even thinking about it, but it is a little bit like girl math because yes, I do have to pay for that inventory, but how I think about it in my brain and how I move the finances around essentially makes that inventory free in my psyche. Meaning if I go sourcing for eBay inventory, I'm buying the inventory cheap and I am handpicking a few items from that sourcing trip to sell nearly immediately to recoup my money. Therefore, I don't actually have any capital tied up. In that video that I referenced about getting free inventory, I sold something out of my house that we weren't using. I got $20 for it and I used that $20 to go buy inventory. So that $20 in inventory was essentially free money. However, it wasn't free, right? I actually had to pay for it. But to take it one step further, what I did was I handpicked a few items out of the merchandise that I paid that $20 for, and I sold it instantly on Facebook to get my $20 back. So not only did I sell something to get the money to go sourcing that was completely outside of our household budget, my business budget, it was basically found money at that point because I literally found something in a closet and sold it and used that money in order to go sourcing. But even after I sourced that stuff and I paid money for it, I immediately sold a few of those items to get that $20 back. So now all of that merchandise, I don't have any money in. When it ends up selling on eBay, it is pure profit. I don't have any money tied up at all whatsoever. So that is what I mean when I say I'm going to only list items on eBay that cost me under $1 or is free. These are also going to be items that I cannot flip on Facebook faster because they might be way too niched. For instance, I just recently posted a bin store vlog where I purchased a soft start for an RV air conditioning system. Now, granted, I paid $4 for it, so I've already, in theory, I've already busted my goal of spending $1 or less. Technically, I didn't because girl math. It's free inventory because I've already profited off of that bin store trip. I spent roughly $300 that day on inventory. I've already sold through everything and did roughly $1,000 in revenue. So that means that that part, I don't have any money in anymore. I've already profited off of that bin store trip. It's free inventory for eBay. I am just completely done with spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on merchandise that is strictly getting listed on eBay and sitting on a shelf waiting indefinitely to sell. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm not doing it anymore. So those are the two guidelines for the new inventory that I plan to list in my eBay store. It either has to be free inventory via reseller girl math, or it has to cost me under $1 per item. There's not a certain dollar amount that I'm shooting for. I will list something on eBay that's worth $3 or $4 plus shipping. You know, and I know that a lot of people are that way. They think to themselves, I'm only going to list it on eBay if it's valued at X amount of dollars or more. I'm not doing that. I'm thinking strictly based off of my cost of goods. I am thinking solely of the amount of money that I have tied up in this stuff. So if I paid under $1 for something, or if it's free, I don't mind putting something on eBay that's worth only $3, $4, or $5 plus shipping. I'm not doing free shipping, I'm doing charge shipping, because I feel like as long as all of the inventory that I put on eBay is either free or under $1, it's gonna be hard for me not to profit off of anything I sell on eBay. Something else that I wanna do is I want to change my mindset regarding calculating profits for eBay. I think a lot of people look at profits on eBay as line by line, item by item, and I don't want to do that anymore. You know, previously I would say I sold this doodad for $15 plus shipping, paid this minus seller costs, minus fees, minus cost of goods. My profit was $11. I don't want to look at it that way anymore. I want to look at the month overall rather than line by line, item by item. That means that I'm going to set a eBay budget for myself every single week, and I'm going to treat it kind of like how I do for Facebook. So if you have noticed on my From Source to Sold video series, even if I don't sell an item and it just, you know, stays on the shelf and remains unsold and is waiting to be sold at a later time, I will still remove that cost of good from my overall number for the day. And that's because I want, whenever I do end up selling that item, I don't have to worry about taking out, you know, figuratively in my head, how much profit I made or whether or not I broke even. I would rather take, as a whole, the number of revenue that I brought in minus the entire number of cost of goods that I have to, boom, equal a gross amount of profit. It's just so tedious to go line by line, item by item and say, okay, this item I sold for this amount of money, minus shipping, minus seller fees, minus my store subscription costs, because don't forget, if you have a store subscription, you have to take that out, minus all these little things to try to figure out what your individual profits are per item. I'm done with that. It's too much work in my head. I'm gonna do everything in a lump sum. So here's what my plan is for that. I have a set dollar amount every single month that I will put into sourcing for Facebook. I'm gonna do the exact same thing for eBay. And because I am spending so little on inventory now, that budget should not be very difficult. I'm planning to budget $40 a month to source for eBay. $40 a month, that's all I'm giving myself to source for inventory for eBay. If I source less, awesome. If not, I've got my budget. I am probably going to subscribe to a basic store subscription again though, because I believe I get 1,000 free listings with the basic store subscription at this point. And I think that's roughly $25, $27. So that means that my estimated expenses for eBay, cost of goods, store subscription should be no more than roughly $70 a month. So this is how I'm going to plan to calculate my eBay profits moving forward. For example, let's say I sell $1,000 in a month on eBay, and let's say my seller costs were 30%. That leaves my total revenue for eBay to be $700. As I previously mentioned, I have my sourcing budget as well as the store subscription factored in there, which is $70. So I would then take $700 minus $70 to leave me with a total profit of $630 out of $1,000 in revenue. See how much simpler that is to calculate profits? I want to dumb things down. I want to dumb things down and stop making things so complicated. So I'll basically take my total revenue for the month minus all of my seller costs, minus that $40 cost of goods budget, minus whatever for the store subscription, boom, there's my profit. And a lot of you are probably thinking, well, that's what I do now. Why were you making it so complicated, Lindy? And I have no reason. I was making things more complicated for the sake of making it more complicated, so now I am dumbing everything down. But all right, now I wanna go over my actual eBay numbers so that we can see where my starting point is. So when I start off this video series, we can see what kind of growth I can achieve for myself and what kind of time frame. Okay, so the best place to start, I think, is probably just in the sales reports. So for the last 30 days, this is where I'm sitting. I have total sales of $290.68. My selling costs were $146.85. That is 50.5%, which is huge. I do not recall a time where my selling costs were over 50%. That is insanity. So that means for the last 30 days, I have only had a net sales total of $127.02. You guys see what I'm talking about when I say my eBay store is in the toilet. So for the last 30 days, I've sold 17 items with an average sale price of $17.10. So now let's take a look at my active number of listings and the value that I currently have listed on eBay. So as of right now, the total value that I have in my eBay account is $10,786.36. So as of right now, it says that I have 331 active listings in eBay, but that's not 100% accurate because I do have some that are out of stock. So according to this, I have 59 items that are out of stock. So 331 minus 59, that means that I, in reality, only have 272 active items available for sale on eBay. So 272 active items is what makes up this $10,786. Now I do have a quantity of 694. That's because some of my listings have multiple quantities. For instance, here, let me come over here to quantity. So some of these I have a pretty good quantity on, like these writing crops. I have, 49 in stock. This Haas Laboratories lip liner, I have 43. This lip crayon from Haas Laboratories, I have 36. I have a whole bunch of these selfie sticks. I have 28 of those. There's another 22 Haas Laboratories, 19 Haas Laboratories, 19 of the CND Vinyl Luxe weekly wear. I have 15 different phone cases, 14 of these butt napkins things. So you could see that I do have a lot of quantity. So while I only have, 272 active listings, I do have multiple quantities on a lot of them, which is totaling, between $10,000 and $11,000 worth of value. So that is my starting point. So you guys, I wasn't kidding. My eBay account is in the toilet. Now, of course, I have, maybe $25 to $50 a week in sales. And that is, again, because I'm not listing anything. I'm not putting any effort into it. I did recently do a video where I did get some movement in my store overnight. But the whole goal of that was to see if it's possible to drive traffic to sales by setting offers, lowering prices, doing some sort of activity. And yes, while doing some sort of activity, I did see an immediate uptick. Not listing anything new, not bulk revising any listings. I did see an uptick, but since then, again, I have not listed anything. I'm being completely transparent with you guys. That's why I need you as accountability buddies. I have not listed anything new in eBay, and the sales are definitely reflecting that. And it is kind of crazy to see that if everything in my eBay store, well, I can't say store, it's not a store, it's just an eBay account. If everything in my eBay account sells right now, that's $10,000 in revenue. That's pretty crazy. So I want you guys, along with me on the journey, to grow my store from scratch. One of the things that I am planning to do this first month of recording all of this data to present in a nicely wrapped video with a little bow on it, I do need to go through and kind of reorganize my eBay account. I am definitely going to be pulling down a lot of items and selling them on Facebook because they've just been listed on eBay for way too long with no movement. I'm basically going to tear apart my eBay account, remove items, and get down to the bare bones so that I am essentially starting from scratch. So I would highly suspect that the number of listings and the quantity and the value of the store is dramatically going to decrease over the next month. But I am looking forward to starting fresh, listing new items, and building an eBay store from scratch with all of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give me any sort of feedback that you have down in the comments below. I really, really appreciate all of you. And I appreciate you becoming my accountability buddies. Very, very much so. I need it. I need accountability buddies. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post my next video. Come with me on this journey. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna grow our eBay stores together, right? Right? Please just say yes. Just say yes so I'm not by myself here. Don't forget to check the video description. I always put a lot of useful information in there. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you with my next video. Bye. Seriously? Seriously? Made it through the whole video without that.